CEO Mark Bichetti here with Brandon Whited.
How's it going?
There's a lot of question about what it really means to be a copywriter. I think back to the old days, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, copywriters were the top of the absolute creative food chain. And we had to envision and oversee everything. So this webinar, a quick webinar, is going to break down what it really means to be a copywriter and how we can bring some old school, timeless strategies, techniques, leadership into our copywriting business so that we can help more people, affect more people, make people more money, and make ourselves more money. And before we go to the next slide, the role of copywriters has kind of changed as we've gone digital. Wouldn't you kind of agree with that? It's like we're a dime a dozen. There's so many copywriters down the pike. Well, people who call themselves copywriters, and that's what we're going to get into. And they confuse the marketplace. And so they also confuse people who hire copywriters because, well, why is this person charge $500 and you charge $50,000? So, well, I can tell you exactly, but it's like if that person has to ask that question, it's probably not an ideal client because they're usually price shopping. Price shopping is not how mountains are moved. It's how paychecks are gotten until you get your next one. So since we've gone digital, we've been much more subservient to other aspects of media and marketing, advertising. So we're going to get into that here. Old school copy. I love Mad Men. I love the Mad Men on in the background.
Don Draper. Yeah.
Everybody. Some of the most iconic real campaigns are in that show. Lucky Strike, Heinz ketchup.
Did he model Don Draper after Ogilvy and Mather? He might have.
There's a bunch of different characters. If you watch the show, you will notice Ogilvy is the only name that's brought up.
Yeah.
And as a real copywriter. So
yeah.
I don't actually remember who, but in the old days, copywriters had a lot to say about where brands went. Big brands, Coke, Pepsi, Chevy, and these days, companies tend to try to surf pop culture rather than create trends, which is the last slide here. We used to do amazing things, and we're gonna get deeper into that. But right now, a lot of copywriters are writing to impress rather than writing to be effective, and knowing what writing to be effective is. And so they don't look into these old timeless, the old timeless meaning of what being a copywriter is. They don't think they're responsible for design. They don't think they're responsible for production. They don't think they're responsible for media.
Right. They just want to write the copy and get out.
Write the copy, but the fact of the matter is, we have to see the whole thing. And we're, leaders. If we're not leading, then we're following, which means that we're not creating. So we're not truly being what we are, which are we're going to get into architects. So, and how can copywriters lead and harness their full role when they don't know what the right questions to ask, so that something can be scalable, so that they can be true assets to their partners and the people that ultimately need our help, the customers and clients who ultimately buy these products and services. And that also comes down to heuristics, not knowing, not remembering how to create true brand association, so that when people think of a problem, they think of your solution to solve or satisfy that issue, whatever it is. Something I don't have that I want, something that I have that I don't want, doesn't matter. So the question a lot of copywriters run into is, why would these big brands trust little old me to tell you what's up, say, hey, we need to go over here. That's what's up. That's what's going on. Who's somebody who hasn't made millions of dollars in profits for previous clients and or themselves? What are they really worth in the eyes of an entrepreneur, in the eyes of somebody who wants to make a lot of money, in the eyes of somebody who believes they have the best product, best service, the best solution?
Yes, they're a big and dangerous question mark.
It is, and that's why I say it's a chicken egg dilemma. You know, what comes first, the experience and then the big bucks, or the big bucks with the experience?
Yeah.
I chose actually the latter, the big bucks with the experience, because I had faith I could ask the right questions. I had faith I could show up. I had faith that no matter how good or not as good as I thought I was, I could always be better. And that's what I'm always striving for. So there's two parts of a copywriter's journey. It's the discovery phase, you know, where you're learning all this stuff that we're talking about right now, discovering these things, really ingraining them in your subconscious and your conditioning so that they can lead your attention rather than all the nonsense that has gotten you nowhere.
Right.
And then there is the leadership phase. There's a myth that in old school ancient martial arts, there were no colored belts. There were no hierarchy in belts. There was a white belt, and you worked your ass off, and that belt got dirty, and it got dirtier, and it got dirtier. Time goes by, all of a sudden it's black, because that person had done everything that they needed to be the best. So they went from white, innocent, pure to black, a vicious weapon.
That sounds a lot cooler than what we have now.
Yeah, what do we have right now? Well, how would you describe what we have right now? I almost said what I was going to say, and that probably wasn't appropriate.
Fucking rainbow, I guess. A rainbow of belts.
There's and we're going to get into this as well, I deserve, or I should be able to have, I should get the good clients, I should be making money. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong is, well, we're going to get deeper into that. Well, first of all, the discovery phase is usually omitted, trying to go directly into the leadership phase without knowing what even being a leader as a copywriter is. So how do you play a full role as a copywriter if you don't know how to collaborate with every aspect of marketing, guaranteeing that you're producing the best results? And that goes back into working with all aspects of media and advertising to make sure that the vision is executed in the most effective way possible. And that's our job. So we're like architects. We have to know how to build the whole building. Now, when we go build a building, do we just like start buying material and start putting it together and be like, yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, keep going. No, it's drawn out, blueprinted. We're no different. We have all of these elements, how to write a VSL, all of these elements that we can draw from, and many more that we can imagine. And we can use them individually, we can use them separately, we can, combine them infinitely. So we have to know how to draw our blueprints. That's one of the things that we talk about a lot, like you and I working together. So one of the questions as architects that we should never ask is this: what do you want me to do? What do you want me to write?
Yeah.
What's the play? You're not a copywriter. Sorry. If you are asking those questions, now it's one thing to collaborate and get feedback so that you understand the market, you understand the product, you understand the mechanism. But from that information, every question should get answered. And if you're asking the owner, how do I do this, basically, then what exactly are you getting paid for? To lose people money?
Just taking orders, sub-leading.
Hey, if you want to be a yes man, go to an agency. Work at an agency. Be told what to do and follow an exact style. You were talking about working with another entrepreneur who has everybody trying to adapt to a very particular style that he has deemed the most effective. Is it the most effective? No. Is it effective? Maybe. It could be. But it's not the most effective. And if you're boxing yourself into one style, then you're not a copywriter. A copywriter should be able to adapt to any product and any audience. Like that. Got the mechanism, got it. I understand how to position it, got it. I understand what the messaging is, got it. I understand who we're talking with, got it. I understand what story they're telling, got it. I understand how to make this a symbol they can associate as the solution to their problem, got it. Here's the new cause. Wow, people never heard of this, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not there. It doesn't exist. So here's another aspect. It's important to work with people who care, because there are two kinds of digital marketers, and we will have two completely different experiences as copywriters, depending on whom we work with. There are two kinds of entrepreneurs. Authentic advertisers, those are the ones we want to work with, and money chasers. Those are the ones who are just trying to get as much out of us, and then when we're lame, put us out the pasture.
Shoot us.
Exactly. So our job is to ask the right questions. It always ends up come down to that. Ask the right questions. Gotta know more. Ask the right question. Gotta know more. If you're working with people that just rush you and just want something out instead of getting the most effective copy, positioning, design, campaign, congruency, all that stuff, getting that out, taking the time, though it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but taking the time to do it so that everybody's on the same page and that everything that's being tested is deliberate, not accident, so that we know what does and doesn't work and why. Without those things, how do you scale? How do you optimize? How do you adjust? How do you respond to data?
You don't.
I don't know. Maybe you probably don't, but because I don't know. But it's common, isn't it? So how many hats do we really have to wear as copywriters? So how do you balance the life between copywriting and copy managing, like project management? Because we're having to envision so many different things, not just copy. So that's why, again, copywriters are so much more than what they are typically communicated as being in this day and digital age. So we used to have to be visionaries, that's why, we have to see everything, and we have to know how to use the whole animal, get the most out of a product, get the most out of a service.
Have to be a leader. Have to lead the client.
And all that's done before a word is ever written. So again, what do you call that? Copy thinking. That's not copywriting. And we have to inspire our clients with our work. We don't just present work and just expect them to all over it. It's just like, sell it. Remember back in the day, you would get in there with your graphic designer, your illustrator, with your team, and you would have storyboards and you would frame it. You would present the work. It's like, let's say we're selling this water. I want you to imagine a world where people are lining up at their local grocery stores because they want one thing. And it's one of the most rare and desirable substances on the planet. It gives us life. It gives us energy. It gives us vitality. It makes us who we are. I mean, we actually are made of it. we can't just put anything into our bodies. We have to treat our bodies like temples. Proud source. Treat your body like a temple. You know, it's just like you have to sell the work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like tell a story, a narrative that gets people just like, I see it. I got it. Does that make sense?
Mm.
We have to paint the story for them. So am I a leader or a follower? Because unfortunately, as much as we would absolutely love to believe it, there is no in between.
Mm.
So are you naturally timid and have time confidently expressing yourself? Do you have a hard time putting your ideas out there because you're afraid they're going to fail? Do you believe that your ideas are the path of least resistance to profitability? And you're just not aggressive enough or clear enough in your communication? Then you're not a real leader. You're a follower, because if you can't communicate, if you can't see, if you can't, you know, strategize, envision, blueprint the whole funnel, then, well, again, let's just go back to what old school copywriting means. From that perspective, you're not a copywriter. And I'm not putting anybody down. We need to upgrade our awareness about what we actually are expected to do and should do.
Mm.
And when I say expected to do, whether they know it or not, the people who hire us, whether they know it or not, this is what they expect. And this is what we should deliver. You know, so dealing with the pressure of saying, this is the way we should go. This is the mechanism. This is the positioning. This is what will work. And then making it right. You make a decision, then you make it right. That's what leaders do. But they also listen and adjust.
Of course.
It's not about being right. It's about being effective. And we have to know how to optimize so that we are right. We have to know how to adjust so we are right. We have to be able to work with media, design, production, so that we can make those adjustments and optimizations so we are right. Does that sound like more than what most copywriters think they are?
Absolutely.
Good. You can't fake it until you make it. I love fake it till you make it. You know, I kind of did that, but I didn't at all. I didn't fake it. I wasn't like when I first started in this business and that chicken and egg dilemma came up, I wasn't. Yeah. I was very confidently diving into, you know, it's like if somebody reached out to me, I would spend 2-3 hours before talking with them to make sure that I knew as much as I possibly could about it, so that I can be with them in the conversation, grow the conversation, and ensure that I'm the right person. I did it just as well the first time, and I do the same thing now. And I don't lean on my past success. Past success doesn't matter. In fact, a lot of the success I've had wouldn't work today. Mm-hmm. So I have to evolve and stay relevant. And I'm not faking that. I'm making it a reality by taking those steps. So nothing will ever trump. I hate that word right now. Knowing more than everybody else about a particular subject. That's why I take that time to do that. Where copywriting feels like hard work when you sit down and you have no idea what the mechanism is and what the positioning is. If you don't know the position, if you don't know the mechanism, how do you know the positioning? How do you know your new cause or your hook? You don't. It's not clear. And so you struggle. And then you can't produce the work that the client deserves and that will actually connect with an audience and be a true investment instead of just wasting money. We're not here to waste money. We're not here to steal money from people. We're here to give them what they pay for. Mm-hmm. And that's what this means. You have anything to say to that?
I guess if you want to make the big bucks, you got to be the leader. You got to be the expert. And you don't need a long time to make that money. Like Mark said, he spent 2-3 hours when he was just beginning, really getting deep, knowing more than the client he was talking to.
Because there's an opportunity. Oh, an opportunity to discover something I don't know yet. Mm-hmm. Oh, got it. Got the download. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Yeah, actually, I do know a bit about that. Tell me what's going on. Mm-hmm. Can't do that if I didn't take that time. I'm like, what is that?
Never heard of it.
And then he's like, yeah, well, I'll keep you in mind. We're still, we haven't decided yet. All right, talk to you later. Great.
Mm.
Is it memorable? You know, if we know more about something than everybody else, if we're true leaders, we can really impact people. Like I was talking about with the water, we can tell stories that just dive into the emotion that we're really feeling underneath the surface and need somebody to call us out on. So we raise our hands and identify. Now, we used to trigger major trends. You know, a lot of people don't remember this or know this, but like Modern Christmas, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas was a poem from Macy's. Copywriter invented Modern Christmas. Copywriter invented, do you have grime on your teeth? Brush them. Toothbrush, toothpaste. That was a copywriter idea, not a dentist. Fascinating. We used to create trends, not just surf them. And when we're not true leaders, we're not true old school in a very, you know, true sense of the term copywriters, we're not creating memorable advertising because we don't know how. And therefore we can't get paid the big bucks. And therefore when somebody says, make me millions, and I haven't done it before, the chicken and the egg problem, I can't confidently fake it till I make it because I actually am faking it. I know it. And it doesn't feel good. How many copywriters do you think feel that right now?
Feel like they're faking it, like an imposter? Too many.
So what are the next steps? It's all on you. There's nobody that's going to determine what you can or can't do except for yourself. But there's a point I want to make. Nobody deserves success and riches. Nor is there a limit for copywriters to be endlessly successful and rich. It all comes down to what you do right now. You're going to continue demonstrating the definition of insanity and keep doing the same shitty things that don't work. Like faking it till you make it, like not knowing how to be a leader, like not knowing what a copywriter really is and what is really expected of them. Again, whether they know they expect it or not. Yes, it means all those things. The question is, are you ready to work? Are you ready to invest? Are you ready to not think that you're owed anything for the time that it takes to be the best, to know the most, to ask the right questions, so that you expand your creative realm, and when you sit down, things feel easy because you know the right questions to ask and you know what elements you're using, and they just fill themselves in.
It's not supposed to be hard. You're not squeezing the copy out through like a 1 millimeter hole. It's supposed to just flow.
It sounds painful. I'm very
That's a lot of people do. Force it.
Do you want to be a real copywriter? Go old school. Start doing the work. You're not owed riches and top clients when you can't actually facilitate what they need. It's not on-the-job training. Train yourself. Hit the Rocky music. Spend 3, 4, 5, 8 hours a day learning, researching, discovering new things. That's on you. If you don't do it, you're not a copywriter. If you don't do it, you're not an asset. If you don't do it, you're murking up the waters. Get the fuck out. Get out of the way. Let the ones who want to do the work. Let the ones who want to show up, show up. Just because you call yourself a copywriter doesn't make you a copywriter. What makes you a copywriter is everything that we've talked about here. Anything to add?
No, you covered it damn well.
That's what she said.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
All right, everybody, any questions, comments, post in the Facebook private group. And as always, if you have any other subjects that you want covered by us, this is dynamic. You are early. Let's grow this together and let's show the world what copywriters are all about. Yes.
Absolutely. Take care now.
All right, later on, everybody.